Hey Zook family, we're meeting another international superstar, and for the Trance family, this is a very special one. Not only is he a big name on the Cold Harbor Recordings label, but he's also one of Marcus Schultz's one to watch. When Marcus came to see us just before lockdown, he told us how popular Dave's music is, especially when he gets requests for his sets. Dave, how are you? How's Los Angeles? How have you been?
I'm doing fairly well. It's definitely been an interesting 3 months here. Especially in LA, it's not getting better at the moment. It's actually getting worse. So we are still kind of taking a lot of precautions, and the restaurants and everything, they opened for a little bit and they are closed again because the positive cases have gone up quite a bit in the past couple weeks since they reopened. So now we're kind of backtracking a little bit. So I've just been staying busy. Being productive so I don't go insane.
Well, look, let's look at the positives. It's unfortunate what's been going on, and of course it's been crazy around the world. But looking at the positives, I'm sure you've been dedicating this time to making some music. So what can we expect to come out from you after this lockdown period?
I have a lot of unreleased music right now. Honestly, I put together a 3-hour set for a stream a couple weeks ago. And like, as I was going through a lot of my music, it's like, oh, I forgot about that one too. Like, I work a lot and I work fast. And like, since I'm not doing shows and having like continuous sets to put together, some of those tracks that I've done like at the beginning of lockdown, I kind of forgot about. So it's just hard to fit in like a lot of these unreleased tracks. And especially since I have my regular stuff and also 2 different aliases, because I've been doing my Okada stuff, which is the darker, progressive, deeper side, and then my Sector 7, which is the uplifting side. And I've been making a lot of music on all 3 different platforms. So there's a lot coming up, let's just say that.
You talk about the sets. I've listened to the sets you've done on the Cold Harbor podcast. A lot of great sets on there, not just from yourself, but like Mike FX and Ski, a lot of cool stuff. So you have those 2 personas. How do you decide, first of all, how did you pick which style of trance you wanted to make, and how do you decide in which way to go with those 2 directions? Because I've listened to your sets, some of them is a lot heavier, darker stuff, some of it is, as you say, more uplifting. So how do you choose what you want to make?
I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's I guess the influence, if I'm like at the gym and I'm listening to like an Art Bat or, Afterlife guys, like Tale of Us, something like that, then obviously like I get really inspired by that. And then I want to come home and like produce something like that. Rather than, or if I'm, listening to a Ali and Fila or, somebody uplifting, then I kind of get into that style and want to come home. Because, as you get these other influences coming in, and that kind of is what sparks the creative flow in my mind. Right now, I'm really on the progressive, melodic techno. Afterlife is a big label that I've been following. I absolutely love that. I feel like production in that style is just very, very different, unique. They kind of step outside of the boundaries. And I really like that about that music. It keeps it very interesting. And it's fun to do like different sound design and all these different effects and modulation. I don't want to explain it and get boring, but yeah, so I've been getting into that style a lot, which is going to be my Okada side. So it's kind of it's still like progressive trance, but I've been doing a lot of stuff more like the Afterlife style, a little more slower tempo, 124 BPM, 125, groovy, melodic, interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome. Especially as we mentioned a lot in these interviews with the different trance acts we speak to, that it's a very close connection between the more deep house techno side for the softer nature, like as you say, the Tale of Us is the Solomons of this world, and then trance itself, which is a beautiful melodic and atmospheric style of music, and then it can even go into a hard style of music, depending on which direction you go. During lockdown, we often ask DJs a couple of questions to inspire those who are watching, and a lot of guys might be trying to make their own tracks during this downtime because people have found they have a lot of time on their hands. What advice to someone who's made some incredible tracks? As I said before, Drifter is a phenomenal track, immensely popular track. What advice would you give to people who are starting out, who might decide, hey, I've got this time, I'd love to give it a try? What words of advice would you give people to jump on that bandwagon?
It's definitely hard to continue and keep at it. Once you get started, it's very intimidating. It's a lot harder than a lot of people think. For me, I didn't have that big of a music background, so when I was first starting, which was probably like 13 years ago or so, I've been producing for. But like, it was just me and my friends just messing around with music production. We didn't know what we were doing, but anything I wanted to learn how to do, I just went to YouTube, typed it in, and I mean, it wasn't that many tutorials back then, because that's not really, like, music production stuff wasn't that popular then. But nowadays, like, anything I want to learn, I can go to YouTube, type it in, and there's a tutorial on it of how to do it. So that's a big one if you want to learn anything. Obviously, the one-on-one is better if you can find somebody that already knows. Like, I actually do teach as well, one-on-one sessions with people. One of them, actually, my track Rapture that I did with Trix, that was on Armada. He already knows music production pretty well, and he's really, really good at writing melodies. And I was teaching him, and I think it was like maybe our 4th or 5th session. He brought that melody to the table, and I was like, this melody is amazing. Like, this is a hit. And we actually started building that track off of his melody, and I was teaching him, like, you know, pretty much from the beginning what you would do. And then we ended up getting it signed by Armada, and it was me and him as a collab. And Armin played it pretty much everywhere for like a year straight. So, you know, he was just definitely like in shock. You know, it was his melody, and like the biggest DJ in the world playing it everywhere. So yeah, I mean, the one-on-ones is definitely like a big one, but it's not necessary. YouTube is always your friend. And don't get intimidated, just be dedicated, you know, stick to it, push through it. I even have writer's block all the time. It is a thing, but when I have it, I just fight through it, and you know, kind of maybe jump from maybe that project to a different one at the time, and then it'll eventually flow. You know, so you just got to stick with it.
So tell me, which is the bigger thrill, hearing your track played by a superstar or playing it yourself in the clubs?
That's tough, because if I'm playing like a stage like Dream State or something, you know, obviously it's cool to play it myself. But then also to see, like, for example, let's see, it was Dream State, I believe it was like 2018. I was hanging out in the back, and this is when I just started my Sector 7 alias. And I was in the back hanging out by the trailers. And all of a sudden I'm like, wait, this is my song. And this is before anybody even knew Sector 7 was me, because I was keeping it secret for like 2 years. And it was Paul Van Dyke playing it on Main Stage, Dream State Day 1. And I was just like, you know, like, wow, what the heck? I didn't even realize that was going to happen. And that was kind of what jump-started that Sector 7 project, was that, because I was just kind of having fun with it at first. But then if it's Paul Van Dyke playing it on Main Stage at Dream State, I was like, okay, I mean, I should probably take this a little more serious now. You know? So
that's pretty phenomenal to have a legend spin your track, and it just shows testament to how good it is, because they're not like they're doing it for a favor. They're picking it because they genuinely like it and they know the crowd will enjoy it. So that's
a huge. He still plays it too, which is insane to me. Like, he still plays it all the time in his Sunday sessions that he's been doing. So it's
congratulations. That's a nice touch.
Well, this was like 2 years ago too. So, you know, I said 2018. So the fact that he's still playing it is pretty phenomenal.
Hey, that's awesome. Yeah. So we talk about collaborations. Who is your dream collaboration?
My dream collaboration. So that's a tough one, because I do like a lot of different styles, you know. So and I produce a lot of different styles. So it's really hard to say who would be my dream collab. And I don't want to be a cliche and say, you know, Armin or something, which obviously would be amazing.
That's the most popular answer I get.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So I would probably say someone like Sebastian Brandt or James Holden, some older guys like that.
Great.
Yeah,
James Holden's great.
I think those would really be really good, because those guys were ahead of the game, like in their era of producing. Like, their music was just so unique and different and out of the box. And like, nobody was doing stuff like that, and nobody is still doing stuff like that nowadays. Now a lot of this stuff is kind of, you know, cookie cutter template style. Like, it's all the same. Not all of it, but a lot of it is. So somebody that has a mind like that, creating some super unique dance music, that's
you raised a really great point, which is great for this style of chat we're having. I remember the first time I heard James Holden, "The Sky is Pink," and to this day I still don't hear tracks that are similar to it, like the journey of the track. So let me ask you, Dave, as an expert in the industry, can you recommend a few artists, or a few tracks for our listeners in Asia to check out if they enjoy this kind of stuff and they want to experience new artists or new sounds? Well, who would you recommend right now?
One of the first ones that comes to mind, it's more of the darker, deeper side. Colin, spelled Colyn. He's he's not really new and upcoming, but he's been doing a lot of stuff on Afterlife now. And I love his productions, his chords that he always uses in that like very slower tempo, emotional, progressive, melodic, techno-ish, whatever you want to call it. Just really, really unique and awesome. Paul Denton, he's an amazing producer. I feel like everything he puts out is really, really good. Production's just top quality. Yeah. I don't know if the progressive trance, like the 132 BPM stuff, it's kind of taken, like, it's been a little slow lately. I feel like not a lot of producers are really like banging it out like they used to. I don't know why, but I think it's gonna make a turn soon. So I don't know who I would really say in that area. Yeah.
So, and it's an obvious question for me. So we would love to get you out to Asia at one point. I think 2020 is an unfortunate write-off. I think 2021 would be a perfect place to start. We have Marcus out here on a yearly visit, and we would love to get you along with him one day. That would be phenomenal. And in the meantime, give us a few tracks of yours that are either upcoming to check out, or tracks that you would really love people to listen to, maybe from your different personas, so that people can familiarize themselves with Dave Neven a bit more.
So there is an ID floating around right now. Certain somebody who's an A-lister played it in his Luminosity set, which is going to be coming up very, very soon. I just had a Sector 7 track called Cherry Blossom, which was actually the James Holden style. I did it based off of that style, so you might even check it out, and you might like it, because it's I think it's like a 9-minute journey.
Oh, perfect.
That one was on Pure Trance. Very unique, kind of old school style. Even somebody was commenting, like, when was this track made? Because it sounds like it was made with modern production, but it sounds like it was made, 10 years ago. Which was called Cherry Blossom. I just finished another one for a big compilation that I was on twice already, 2 years in a row, so that might give it a little secret away. So that one's coming up under my Okada projects. Yeah, I have a lot coming up, so it's kind of like, and a lot of it I can't really talk about quite yet. But there is a lot. There's probably, I would say, close to 10 tracks or so floating around right now.
There's a lot.
Three different platforms. So
there's a lot for us to look forward to. So, but do keep us posted. We love sharing new music that's coming out, and we would love to post it on our socials. So as it comes out and as you're comfortable, just drop us a line, and we'd love to share it. It'd be phenomenal to do so. And I always ask a few questions to the DJs just so we can deep dive a bit more into them. One that everyone knows I ask every time is, Dave Neven's going to represent the USA at the Olympics. What sport will it be in? Winter or summer? You have the choice. Okay.
Well, I've done a lot of sports in my past. I was going to say, if it was in the Olympics, aggressive skating. I was a semi-pro skater, not skateboarder, rollerblader. Semi-pro I skated for like 12 years when I was younger.
Oh, wow.
And kind of music took over. And then I got older, and my knees hurt, and I got hurt a lot. So as you get older, obviously you can't do that anymore. But I used to snowboard quite a bit as well. I was kind of an adrenaline junkie growing up. So
I wish I tried. I'm a skier, and I kind of feel that with the state of my knees nowadays, I don't have, and my ass, I don't know if I can take the bruising to try snowboarding. But
it's hard at first, yeah.
If you come out, which I hope you really do next year, you should tag Japan onto the end and go snowboarding there. It's phenomenal snow.
Yeah, I saw Dan Dobson was talking about that, right?
Yeah, phenomenal. Next thing is, let's presume some of our followers out here in Asia go to LA for the first time. What 3 things do you highly recommend as a local tour guide people check out in your hometown?
Venice Beach. Obviously, that's a big one because it's in the movies and all that. But it's also very interesting out there. There's a lot of interesting people. There is a thing called people watching out here because there's a lot of very interesting people in Venice Beach specifically. All over LA actually, but specifically Venice Beach. Also, Runyon Canyon or Griffith Observatory, which is kind of like one of those mountain hikes that goes up and you can overlook the entire LA from downtown to Santa Monica almost. And if you're into the clubs, I would have to say Exchange, just because Exchange is one of the mega clubs. It's my home. It's right by my house, so it's like a mile away. And it's like 4 stories, but they have 2 rooms. And it's just a mega club. It's massive. And they got amazing trance events that they put on there. They do techno, they do deep house, they do trap if you're into that, all the genres of dance music. But yeah.
So perfect. Dave's guide to Los Angeles. That's perfect. And the last question I would love to ask is, will you come and visit us next year in Malaysia?
Absolutely. I've always wanted to make it out to Asia, and I've never been, so yeah.
Then we've got to try and make that a first. But look, Dave, we really appreciate you taking the time to chat to us. Please stay safe in LA. We cannot wait for the music. Share it with us as it comes out. And if the guys want to check out your new music or even interested in talking to you about the one-on-one production, where can they find you? What's the easiest way to contact you?
You can check out the music at soundcloud.com/Dave Neven, or Spotify, of course, Apple Music, any of those platforms. The only one is SoundCloud will have a lot of my unreleased bootlegs and stuff like that don't really get posted to Spotify and all that, because that has to be official releases. And if I'm a big bootlegger when it comes to dance music. I make a lot of different bootlegs for my sets and whatnot, so I post those. And then for one-on-one sessions, if you are interested, you can always hit me up on Facebook or even email. It's daveneven@gmail.com. Very simple. You can even send promos and all that as well. I always listen to music. If you need feedback, I'm always doing that as well. I like to help out in any way I can because I didn't have anybody when I was doing it, starting off. So the help definitely helps the new people.
Hey, that's really nice of you, and I'm sure there's people who would be definitely interested in that. Dave, thanks. I can't wait to get you out here. I also can't wait for you to take me to Muscle Beach in LA. That's been like a lifelong mission. That's lifelong mission. Yeah. So and the people watching would be phenomenal. I mean, I can only imagine some of the characters you get out there. But more importantly, we can't wait for the music. I know you've done a set for us. We can't wait to listen to that. And thank you once again. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate it.
Nice talking, Joe.
No worries, bro. Take care.
See ya. Bye-bye.